Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Bishop Darrell Watkins, and let's queer up faith. The strange story of the Church of England's gay exorcism and the legal settlement. The Church of England has paid a 5-figure settlement to a gay man who says he was subjected to a terrifying exorcism meant to purge his sexual so-called impurity. You might say to have Jesus drive out the gay. Matthew Drapper, 37, was volunteering at St. Thomas, Philadelphia, a church in Sheffield, England, when he attended what was billed as a, quote, Encounter God weekend. Expecting a contemporary and welcoming experience, he says he instead endured a deeply traumatic ritual meant to drive out gay urges. Drapper told The Times, looking back, quoting, "It seems like something out of a horror movie. For someone to be standing over you and saying they can see demons leaving your body is quite terrifying. But when you are deeply tied into the church, as I was at that time, it's easy to believe anything they tell you," end quote. The experience led Drapper to abandon Christianity altogether. Church officials initially denied the event took place, but an independent investigation by the charity Barnardos, commissioned by the Diocese of Sheffield, confirmed the session did occur. It was described as a, quote, prayer session, end quote, to change Drapper's sexual identity. Drapper filed a legal complaint in 2022, calling the exorcism ritual a form of conversion therapy. Though he wished to go to court, the church's insurers argued his claim exceeded the legal time limit. To avoid a lengthy battle, he accepted a settlement. His attorney, Richard Scorer, believes this is the first time a UK church has paid damages to a conversion therapy survivor. Scorer said, "It demonstrates that churches which engage in these abhorrent homophobic practices may face legal claims and damage awards, and I hope it will encourage churches to ban such practices entirely," end quote. The case comes as the UK continues to consider legislation to ban conversion therapy nationwide. Don't spare the horses. Ban this damn, you know what I mean? Because it's abuse and it's malpractice. Because, first of all, I hate the word homophobia. I refuse to use it anymore. You're not scared of anything. You're just being mean. It's homo hatred. It's trans loathing. There's no transphobia or homophobia in my world. It's homo hatred and trans loathing.
You're not afraid of them.
Yeah. In fact, you're doing everything you can to make them afraid of you. It's bullying. It's not phobia. So that. But these people, the Church of England, that's my tradition, by the way. I confirmed Episcopalian, went to an Episcopal seminary. That is my background. It is absolutely malpractice. They know. We go to graduate school. We have to know. They know that homosexuality, heterosexuality, bisexuality, pansexuality, picosexuality is innate. They know it's part of how you're wired. They know that it's value neutral, that it just is. And so for them to pretend that it's some sort of mystical woogie and you can just pray it away or beat it away or scream it away or wash it away, I'm going to wash that Satan right out of your hair. That is so stupid. And they know it. And meanwhile, look at the damage. This person was terrified, and this person wound up basically having his faith destroyed. Now, if your faith isn't something so crazy, let it be destroyed, but it's still painful. It's still, so they damaged his spiritual life, they damaged his psychology, and all for what? Something that they knew was bullshit. It makes me angry.
Yeah, I can't believe how this is still allowed. Like we had done a story a couple months back about a church that was doing like exposure therapy, Bishop, like something horrific when it came to a homophobic, a homosexual congregant of theirs. You know, at the end of the day, it's abuse. At the end of the day, it's illegal.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the
Certainly
person is
immoral.
worse off
Broken,
for it.
damaged.
You know, broken, damaged, even more so, second guessing themselves to the point of suicide. I mean, that is what this person was sent to. You know, and then can you just imagine that you're just like, oh, let me pack up, gonna go to a gay retreat, ta-ta-ta-ta-da.
Pray for a couple of days.
Fun, just pray for a couple of days, maybe have some vegan options, you know, just to like clean everything out, and then you get there to this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
I'm waving incense over you and I see devils coming out of you. Well, that's between you and your pharmacist. You know what I mean? Like, that is insane. And do you know, first of all, there are so many queer saints in church history. At least twice a month we cover it on queer on the Queer God Squad. There are so many queer. There are even queer figures in the Bible. There are so many ways to queer scripture on top of that. Plus, we have known since 1973 that this is not disordered. This is not anything to. This is in no way psychologically damaged or damaging. This is just part of the spectrum of humanity. We know too much to pretend that we don't. But people have built their lives on oppressing people, one way or another, and they lose one group after another, which makes them buckle down on the remaining groups. And so every group that they thought their faith told them to hate, as they lose that group, they hate the remaining ones all the more, which just shows you how frail that faith is and how dysfunctional that God is. And so they're like, yeah, but if you tell us that gay's okay, and you tell us that women can preach, and if you tell us that, divorced people are, or as long as they're happy, and you tell us you can't beat your kids, and you tell us that drag queens can read a Bible story, well, then what do we have left? Bishop Spong used to say, and I've lived my life by this. This is my affirmation of faith. Any God that can be killed ought to be killed as a public service. If your God is so fragile that your whole faith falls apart because you find out that gay people are people, then screw that God anyway. Yeah. That God was just a crutch that you leaned on to justify your hatred and your bullying. So better to have no God. I hate that this guy lost all semblance of faith. I wish he could embrace like humanism or something positive.
Something. And didn't even get no money out of it, Bishop. He got a couple $1,000. Five when the bishop read that, I go, sir, are you sure you didn't read the wrong number?
I mean,
like 5 figures. He probably got $1,000 and we're doing this story.
Yeah, right. I mean, I guess it could be like $99,000, but
it's not.
Yeah,
and we know it.
I feel like it's more like 10.
I get it. This sets precedent. I understand what the point is. Like they said, it's the first time that a church is actually paying damages to someone.
Such as it is.
So it's more meaningful for that reason. But
do you know how many times? I mean, this is not at all inflated. How many times we have done at Sunshine Cathedral suicide funerals from churches where they were taught that they were evil, that they were going to hell. They can't take it anymore. They kill themselves. The church won't even do the funeral. They do it here. And then the family, sometimes the partner, goes right back to that church.
Yeah.
That is how damaged that sort of theology is. My whole job in life is to resist oppressive theologies. Now, of course, you can resist it by just walking away. That's one option. Another option is to offer an alternative. And that's what we do because this sort of thing is unconscionable. And there has to be a safe place to heal from that sort of thing and to hear that was never okay. That was never in any sort of divine plan. Yeah. So the Church of England knows better. That priest should have known better and did know better. This is malpractice. I'm glad there was some kind of penalty, but if it was 10,000, it really should have been 100.
For sure. And that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.